guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing another true crime astrology case, and really we're using this to show how astrology can reflect what's going on in situations. It's not to sensationalize or anything like that. It's just, hey, there's this true crime case and the astrology is fascinating. So, joining me today is Jessica Avery. I am so excited to have you on the channel.
Oh, I am so happy to be here. I felt so grateful when you asked me to do this with you.
Yeah, so me and Jessica, we've been friends for quite a while. And
Yeah.
Jessica, you're a medium, a historian, astrologer. She says budding forensic astrologer, but guys, don't fall for that. She's like so good at this. And also you are co-host of Calling All Spirits podcast. So
Yes,
you're all in the spiritual industry here.
I am. No, I love it. It's definitely a passion of mine. And when I can combine my history side and my astrology and mediumship side, even better. And now bringing in forensic astrology is so cool.
Yes, yes. And like behind the scenes, we were talking about this case. So
Yeah.
today we're doing the Taylor Parker um, murder case, and for the death of Reagan Hancock and her unborn child. And you guys are probably more familiar with this story from the Netflix documentary Maternal Instinct. And so me and Jessica were talking about this, like, oh my God, this is crazy. Look at the astrology. And I was like, we got to come on YouTube and discuss.
No, absolutely. And this case really hit home for me because I'm originally from Paris, Texas, which is just right up the road. And even Taylor was coming to Paris. So I don't know. Normally, I don't get too into true crime cases, but this one just, I was like, I have to find out everything about it. And I was like, Brandy, you have to look at the chart on this case.
Yeah, it's crazy because we're in Texas. For those who don't know,
Mhm.
we work remotely. But we are here in Texas, and this happened. Am I right about like the Turks? I can't say it, Texarkana
Yeah,
area.
you're right.
Okay.
Texarkana. Uh-huh.
I'm originally from Oklahoma, and some of this case like goes into Oklahoma. It's like we were talking
Yeah.
about that, like, wow, we actually know, where this is at.
Yeah, even having connections to some of the people in the documentary, that was just my mom. We were watching with my mom, and my mom's like, I know that person. I know that person. My sister knew somebody. Not Taylor or anything like that, but just some of the people like on the periphery. It's like, okay, this one really is hitting close to my heart and close to home. And like you said, it's not to sensationalize it, but I love how even looking at these cases that have been solved could help solve future cases, especially those that have gone cold or they really have no leads. Um, Being able to help and give back in that way would be incredible and amazing.
Great point. Absolutely. And like I always say, like, I wish astrology could be taken more seriously with
Yeah.
like crime, especially things that are unsolved. It just helps
Mhm.
give details and maybe clues. But
Yeah.
yes, yes. And so if you guys are kind of new to this story, Jessica's got you. She made our notes just to kind of outline, or if you've seen it and we need a little refresher, Jessica, do you mind just kind of going through hey, here's what happened, and that'll lead us to the charts.
Sure, I would be happy to. And I was telling Brandy, these notes could have literally been like 10 pages long because this story is so crazy and goes down so many different roads. So I kind of just kept it to the crime we're going to talk about today. But we're talking about Taylor Parker. And she met Wade Griffin in 2019, and they quickly began planning a future together. And Taylor had told Wade that she came from this wealthy family. She was expecting a multi-million-dollar inheritance, and would they could purchase this large ranch together. Her money was coming from oil, but then I also heard there was money coming from the syrup industry.
I
I
don't
mean,
mean to
all
laugh, but like oil to syrup, like
Yes, all kinds of crazy things, but it was her grandparents had the money and she was going to inherit. But she also started telling him that her mom was crazy and her mom was trying to lie to everybody, which is going to come into play, and wanted to keep her from getting the money. And so she's just weaving this crazy tale and people believe it. That is one thing I will say. In a very horrible way. She's really manipulative, but she's also really persuasive,
yeah.
which I think is going to show up in her chart later on. Well, so while she's talking about this these millions of dollars she's going to inherit. In January 2020, Taylor tells Wade that she's also pregnant. And they are expecting a little girl. They already named her Clancy Gale. They had maternity photographs taken. They had a gender reveal party. And however, if you've seen the documentary, you know all of this is a lie. There are no wealthy grandparents. There is no fortune in oil or syrup. There is also no pregnancy. She is faking all of this. Taylor had actually had a hysterectomy, so she couldn't even be pregnant, even if they wanted to. She used fake ultrasounds. She wore a prosthetic belly to maintain the pregnancy. And Wade was kept away from every doctor's appointment. And it worked out for Taylor because COVID restrictions. This is right in the heart of COVID. So he couldn't go into the doctor's offices, and the appointments he could go to, she made up lies saying they had been rescheduled or some kind of excuse why they couldn't go. Well, she was due in September, and when that original due date passed, by the way, she went into her 10th month with this.
That
When the
hasn't
original
happened since like the 70s.
No, no. So, and during all this time, everybody's starting to suspect, people are starting to talk. Um, Unfortunately, the doctors that did the hysterectomy, they're seeing all this on Facebook. They know it's not true, but because of HIPAA laws, they can't say anything. And so people were trying to tell Wade, trying to warn him, and she had an excuse for everything and always blamed it on her mom. My mom is evil. My mom doesn't want me to have this money, and now my mom doesn't want me to have a baby with you. And so she always had a reason and excuse for everything. But after her due date passed, she and Wade planned to go to Mount Pleasant on October 5th to finally have this baby so she could be induced. Well, early that morning, the house catches fire, conveniently enough. So they have to put out this house fire. And then on top of that, there is a bomb threat called into the Mount Pleasant Hospital on the same day. So she certainly cannot go have her baby that day. It would later come out that she started the fire and she called in the bomb threat for that. Now on so now Taylor's getting desperate. And Wade said one of the last things she said to him was, I'm tired of everybody saying I'm lying about this pregnancy. I'm going to bring home a baby. And unfortunately, that's where our crime comes into play. And I'm not going to go into the horrific details, but on the morning of October 9th, Taylor had arranged for Wade to take some hogs to Oklahoma to be sold. And then they were going to meet at the Idabel Hospital where she was going to have her baby and be induced. They were going to take the hogs together, but at the last minute, she said she didn't feel well for him to go ahead. And then they would meet at the hospital.
Can you
What
imagine
real
like dropping off hogs and then, oh, and now I'm gonna go have a baby?
Exactly. At 10 months, I mean, I was about to go a week over my due date, and they were like, we have to induce you. Like, you can't, like, they wouldn't even let me go 4 or 5 days over. So, yeah, now you're 10 months and you're just going to drive to Idabel, which, by the way, Idabel is over an hour away. It's in a whole different state. There's
Is that
hospitals.
in Oklahoma?
Idabel is in
Okay.
Oklahoma. Uh-huh. And the big question was, why don't you just go to a hospital that's maybe 15, 20 minutes away? But she couldn't do that because those hospitals knew she couldn't really be pregnant. The hospitals also in Texas were on alert. They had put out a code pink because what they thought was going to happen was she was going to try to steal a baby. So they had warned all the hospitals in the area to keep an eye out for her. So that was another reason she had to go to Oklahoma to try to get out of state. But Taylor does go over to Reagan Hancock's house. She had taken Reagan Hancock's wedding photos and some other family photos, and they had recently reconnected over social media and started hanging out together again. They had even hung out the night before the murder. Taylor had been over at Reagan's house. But on the morning of the 9th, Taylor went over to Reagan's house and murdered her, and it was extremely violent, and also cut the baby out of Reagan's stomach and stole the baby.
Mm.
And just horrific, horrific crime. Reagan was only 21 years old, and her baby, she was 35 weeks pregnant with a little girl. So after that, Taylor fled from Reagan's house. She's trying to get to Idabel. State trooper pulls her over because she's speeding through the town. Now she's in DeKalb, Texas. She says it's her baby. And at first they believe her, they get the baby, they get her, they rush them to Idabel Hospital, and once they're there, they quickly realize when they do an exam that she never had a baby. She wasn't pregnant, and then they had to find out where did this baby come from, and that's when they heard about the murder in New Boston. And they put two and two together really quickly. And
Completely horrific and disturbing.
awful. It's
Yeah.
awful. And so they arrest Taylor that day. She is found guilty, and they do give her the death penalty. So she is now currently, I believe, she's the seventh and the youngest woman on death row right now in the state of Texas, awaiting execution. And as of right now, there hasn't been a date set, but just it's incredible how many lies she told. And from what came out later, she'd been doing that her entire life,
Yeah.
and just blindsided Wade and everybody. They had no idea she would stoop to that level to get a baby. So that's kind
Ooh.
of the over. That's a very short, brief overview of the crime we're going to talk about.
All right. And then, so thank you for that. That was like perfect. Like, just
Okay.
it hit everything that's like really, I guess, important. But like, watch the document. There's like all so
Yes,
much. There's so
there's
much, and
so
you're just
much.
like, oh my God. Um, so with the astrology,
Hmm.
especially when you're doing true crime astrology, the best chart to really start looking at is always the last time a victim was either heard from or seen, like the last noted time
Hmm.
someone was alive. So I think we'll start with the
Sure.
7:52 a.m. chart, and
Okay.
let me go ahead and get that up for us.
Okay.
So here we go. And you guys watching, some of you probably already pretty familiar with, I call it forensic astrology or criminal astrology. I'm also going to be explaining what we're seeing and how we're finding it for any of those new so they can follow along. Um, Jessica, you're our guest.
Yeah.
So do you want to start with where we find the victims here?
Absolutely. So for the victim, we are always going to look at the ascendant, and for the ascendant in this chart, we of course have Libra. So then we're going to go to the ruler of Libra, which is Venus, and that's going to show up in the 11th house.
Mhm.
And the first thing that stood out to me with the 11th house is that's the house of friendships. That's the house of acquaintances, and even people meeting socially or social networks. And so that tells me that there's an acquaintance or a friend involved in this crime. This is not a stranger to this person at all.
Yeah. And I might have forgot to add the detail. Sorry,
Yeah.
Gemini brain
That's
here. We got 7:52 a.m. because this is the last time
hmm
Reagan Hancock, who was the one murdered, this is the last time she texted back with Taylor Parker, because they were
hmm
texting back and forth before we know Taylor
hmm
arrives at her house. Is that?
yeah, they know she arrives sometime between like 7:30, and then she leaves sometime between 9:14, and what all happens and goes down in between then is anyone's guess of when it happened.
Right. And police said this is the last time Reagan responds.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
probably assuming
Hmm.
Taylor arrives after that. So yeah, great point. The ruler of Reagan is in that 11th house of friends. And then we got like the Libra ascendant, right? Like
Yeah.
Libra, like if you think about it, is scales, right? There's kind of like
Yeah.
it's not a double-bodied sign necessarily.
Hmm.
It's not like Gemini, but like it's got the scales. There's something about dual here. So a lot
Right.
of times when you see that Libra ascendant, there's more than one victim.
Yeah.
First, we have
Yeah.
Reagan and her child.
Yes. And yeah, and I'm sorry, I forgot to include that in the synopsis. Sadly, the baby does not survive. So
Yeah.
we do have two victims in this, and so that would make
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. And yeah, like so we got Venus and it's in Virgo.
Hmm.
And so it's like it's in a fall.
Yes, I noticed that.
Yeah. And so right there, like those victims, they're not well placed, right? Like there's a
Right.
danger. There's something wrong here. Um, and then you can go into the co-ruler of the victims, which is always the moon.
Right. Yes.
Right here in Cancer, Jessica.
I know that when I first looked at this chart, that almost stood out to me more than the Venus. That it's in the sign of motherhood. and it stays in that sign, and it's just, oh, that tugged at my heartstrings.
Yeah. Yeah, the sky always reflects.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of like astrology continues to blow my mind, and then like in this
Yeah.
case, bringing in the moon in Cancer, yeah, motherhood, like literally, and
Hmm.
yeah, it's just this chart, and then
Yeah.
it to go to the perpetrator, like we know who's
Right.
involved in this, but if like we're just kind of looking at this, like who's involved?
Right.
Going to look at the seventh house in Aries, in which you
Oh.
got Mars ruling Aries, right? In Aries, but retrograde.
Yes, and Aries, as soon as I saw that Aries, I'm thinking violence and also just a rat like temperaments and impulsive and quick to anger. And while we know she had planned this, it's still when they talk about the crime, it seems like it just happened quick and fast.
Yeah.
And also, I think about the part of Aries and the ego and confrontation and how she had told Wade, like, I will be back with a baby. And she wouldn't give it up. That's what they kept saying. Like, she could have just said she had a miscarriage, but it's like, no, I'm going to prove everybody wrong. And how dare they call me a liar? And I picked that up too with that Aries and Mars.
Yeah, there's something kind of angry
Hmm.
about it. And we're talking in a criminal chart. So for all you out there that have like Aries birth chart
Yeah.
energy, totally different.
Yes.
Totally different. But forensically, yes. And then I don't want to get into the details of
Right.
what happened with Reagan, but I'll say this, like it was horrific. Like
Yes. Yes.
multiple stabbings, etc. So
Yes.
such an Aries thing as well. Like just,
Hmm.
yeah. And then you got, so one thing that like really disturbs me about this Aries, I mean, the whole thing's disturbing, but
Right.
it's retrograde.
Hmm.
And so, with retrograde, there's something about an inwardness of the energy or it's just something that doesn't like work quite right. Just vaguely speaking here, but like it almost makes me think it goes back to like the manipulation, like it's very inward, like hiding until it isn't.
Yes, which would fit 100%.
Now, what's your thoughts about this? It's right on the cusp, when we're looking at the chart.
Mhm.
Um, Mars is 22 degrees and 29 minutes, and then the seventh
Right.
house cusp is 22 degrees, 56 minutes. It's pretty much in the seventh house. Like if you go by horary rules, anytime a planet's within like 3 degrees,
Yes.
we're kind of in the house, but kind of sitting in the sixth house too. Like it's right there. Do you have thoughts about that?
Yeah, and I think this is going to also show up in the 830 chart when we go forward a little bit. But the thing I noticed about that sixth house to me, that's when you're going about your daily routine, when you're just going about your normal business, and which is exactly what Reagan was doing. She was getting ready for work. She was going to take her other daughter, who thankfully was unharmed in all of this, to school, and then it's just suddenly she's interrupted in the worst way possible. And this
Yeah.
comes in. So that stood out to me.
Yeah. And then one thing I've seen, and I see especially like just like studying different crimes, when you
Hmm.
get that sixth house activity, a lot of
Mm,
times it can be like someone stalking or watching.
yes. Yes. No, thank you for bringing that up. Yeah,
And,
100%,
and I mean,
which she
along with what you're
was.
saying too, like it all applies. But it's like, God, like how long was she outside this house, right? Like,
Right. And how long was she planning it? They don't know if Reagan was the original, like she had her heart set on Reagan. From what I've seen is she was just looking for anybody. I mean, she was sitting outside a doctor's office in Paris, Texas, writing down license plate numbers for
that
different
is so
women coming out.
creepy.
So creepy. And so, but when she, I hate to say the word, but chose Reagan, there was planning involved. She was watching her. She was watching her on social media. And it does say that she didn't go immediately to Reagan's house. She sat in a parking lot for a while. But there's definitely a stalking element of Reagan, but also of other women too.
Yeah. Which we see here,
Yeah.
um, and one thing going on with Mars, which, again, is ruling Taylor Parker in this
Hmm.
chart, it's representing her. It is
Hmm.
in like an exact square to Pluto by the
Yeah.
degree and minute. Like
Wow. Yeah.
which
And
Pluto, I mean, I'm a Hellenistic astrologer. I use the outer planets. I bring in some of that newer stuff, but a lot
yes.
of times we stick to the inner. But like
Right.
sometimes though you can't ignore like the Pluto aspect here. I'm totally bringing it in here because it's like
Yes.
Pluto is also violence,
It
secretive.
is.
Yeah,
And I noticed it was in, I saw one of the things that stood out to me too is that Pluto and Saturn in the fourth house.
yeah,
And that, and I, not only do we talk about that can also be a house where you see when people have passed, but also to me, it's also the home.
it's the home.
And right, and that's where Reagan was.
Yeah. It's just,
Uh,
yeah, I mean, just that the Mars in itself is violent enough. And then you bring
yes.
in that square to Pluto and it's
Hmm.
absolutely horrific here. And yeah, you're right, right there with Saturn. Um,
Yeah.
if we want to, we're looking at the moon here, which I think very well represents the
Mhm.
baby.
Yeah.
You can also look at the fifth house as well for
Right.
children. I hate to say it, but when children are the victims, or there's something
Right.
going on with the child, you got the fifth house
Hmm.
in Aquarius, which if you look at the traditional ruler would be that Saturn
Hmm. Yes.
right there as well.
Yeah.
And fourth house can also be the womb and the tomb,
Right.
right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. No, I did that when I saw Pluto there, it almost kind of broke my heart because it almost feels like the
Yeah.
writing's on the wall, like it's already everything's already in motion right there. And then when we are looking at the fifth house, I'm looking to see if my chart is the same. I've got your chart and my chart pulled up, and looking on mine in that fifth house, I saw that Neptune
Yeah.
there in Pisces. And I was thinking, when I think of that, again, not if somebody has Neptune in Pisces, like this isn't a bad thing. But when I'm looking at this chart and doing, it made me think of illusions and
Mhm.
lies. And I'm thinking that's the house of children.
Yeah.
And Taylor's been lying about this pregnancy and this is going to be her baby and just lying about her motives as well. And that stood out to me too.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And keeping with the house of children or subject of children, and I don't know where I want to go with this because it's I'm just going to go where I'm going with it. But like,
Yeah.
so, if we're looking at the moon for the baby in Cancer, very strong in a home
Hmm.
sign and domicile,
Yeah.
then you get the other ruler of the fifth house, Saturn and Capricorn, very strong
Yeah.
in domicile. Like,
Yes.
baby is very wanted.
Yes.
I mean, Reagan and her husband, I mean,
Yeah.
of course, right? They could not wait for this baby. And like they were just looking forward to being parents to this baby. And then you have the fact about Taylor,
Yeah.
wanting this baby as well. It's sad.
It's extremely sad. And what you just said goes with everything we know about Reagan. She talked about she was born to be a mom. She loved being a mom. That's what she wanted to do. And this baby was so loved already by her and her family and her husband. And so it definitely shows in this chart, that aspect.
Absolutely. Did you have any thoughts about that Mercury in the first house?
That's what I want to go to next because I know also when we look at children, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Mercury can also be an area that we look for. And when I saw it in that first house, to me, it just, I thought, oh, it's with the victim, like the child and the victim are together. But is that correct? I want to make
Yeah,
sure I interpreted that
absolutely.
correctly.
Mercury is like a younger energy. And so
Hmm.
definitely like something about I think children can definitely apply because it's young.
Hmm.
True crime astrology in general, it can represent just someone younger.
Hmm.
But yeah, absolutely. And right there in the first house of Reagan as well, like, yeah, it
Yeah.
shows them together. I think you can absolutely take that. Um,
And she did have another daughter at the house. I think her other daughter was 3 years old. So I wonder if that could be a factor too, that there were not only was she pregnant, but then she had her other daughter with her, even though thankfully she wasn't harmed.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And I think another thing to layer on top of it,
Mm-hmm.
this is a chart about the last time
Right.
Reagan texts back. This is about communication. And then you got
Yeah.
Mercury right there too, which rules
Yeah.
communication. just another testimony of, what's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I feel like as we go to go to more charts, it only gets worse.
It does. And
This one.
one thing too I'm looking at is the sun.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, I had a note on the sun. So
oh, I want
I'm
to hear
curious.
it. Let's hear
Well,
it.
I just thought in that 12th house, and whenever I see that 12th house, I think of like hidden motives and there's some form of concealment going on. Something is being hidden from the victim, but I want to know what your thoughts are, if that's kind of on the right track.
I'm kind of like, one of those things where you kind of zoom out and then you try to zoom in
Yeah,
with it. And so like zooming out, like, okay, yeah, you got the sun. It's far enough from the ascendant where it's 12th house sun. And it's in
right.
Libra, which is a
Right.
fall. And
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of
Yeah.
times in these charts, when you have the sun in the 8th or 12th, even if it's not ruling victim or perpetrator, there is
Right.
something um not great about that, because the sun's
Right.
supposed to shine, right? And then like it's in a
Yes.
fall and it's in a hidden house.
Yes.
It
Um,
just it feels grotesque. It feels violent. I almost
mhm.
wonder too, just as
Uh-huh.
another layer, if this could be Reagan's husband, because I feel like if I remember right, he was trying to reach out to her, was he?
Oh, yeah, he was. I hadn't
Yeah.
even thought about that. That's a great point because I know it can represent like male energy and
Sometimes, yeah, especially in horary. Yeah, like
yeah. So and he even said her last text weren't making sense. So to me,
mm,
and they didn't say this, so I don't know. It makes me wonder if Taylor was the one texting and not Reagan because they said they just didn't sound like Reagan.
that's
And then he
right.
couldn't get a hold of her after that. And she stopped texting him. So that could certainly be Wade. I was trying to not Wade, I'm sorry, but Taylor's husband. Wade was it gets confusing.
It gets confusing. Yeah,
Wade was with Taylor. That
yeah.
was her boyfriend. We're talking about Reagan's husband, Homer. So I want to
Homer.
correct that.
Yes, thank you.
Homer.
I kind of remember that now where they were thinking
Yeah.
maybe Taylor was replying. Okay, it kind of came back to me.
Yeah.
So
I
maybe this is,
apologize,
oh, you're good.
everybody, if I get them mixed up.
Oh,
Sorry.
Jessica, you're okay. Ask the viewers here. I will say North Node for South Node and like, we're about like, we all know where we're at on this. Like, yeah,
Yes.
we know what you mean. And so like, yeah, it makes me wonder, could this be the male that's close
Yeah.
to the ascendant? Oh, like trying to figure things out. I don't know. I think it could apply so many ways here.
Absolutely. I agree. And tell me again if I'm wrong, because I do consider myself, I'm picking it up, but I am still budding. So I do have
Guys, I
questions.
told you
So
don't buy that.
but I'm also wondering if it could be Homer because he's confused. He doesn't know what's going on, but also Taylor has Wade completely in the dark.
Yeah.
Could that come
Could
into
it be
play too?
both?
That yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Absolutely. It could represent both of them. And Libra double
Oh,
sign,
right.
not double bind, but you know what I mean?
Double.
Like the ways are here. So the balance is here. So
Absolutely.
okay. So let's go ahead. Are you anything else
Sure.
about this or would you like to move on to the 8:30 chart?
No, I am good with the 8:30 chart. I think I've got everything I wanted to talk about. And some will come into the 8:30 chart. So,
Okay, great. So 8:30 and the way we are picking the time for this, she's
mhm.
at the house, they know, right? Between probably 7:50. Give us that time again.
So they know she's at the house. I think the cell phone pings around 7:30ish, and she's there till I saw 9:09 and 9:14.
Yeah.
But I mean, and you can't take Taylor as a credible witness to anything that happened in there. Um, but it sounds like maybe they were talking or hanging out before she attacked. So 8:30 is kind of that midway point.
Yeah. So we were
Um,
like, what's happening? Like, let's just kind of go
yeah,
in the middle and kind of see if we can see
yeah,
what's happening. Right.
yes,
Okay. So
absolutely.
interesting thing with this chart, all of a sudden the rulers switch.
They do. I noticed that, and well, I messaged you yesterday. I'm like, wait, it's changing up on me and
Because you
stuff.
have
They
that
do.
axis, right? Like before it was a Libra ruled, which would be Venus,
Yeah,
and the seventh house was Aries, and now we're switching a little bit. So now
yeah,
the ascendant Scorpio, whereas
yeah.
the descendant's Taurus. So they switched rulers.
They did. And with that Scorpio, again, kind of going the traditional rule, we have Mars and it shows up in the sixth house, daily routines, but it's in Aries still, which is that violence again.
You know what I'm wondering with that too?
Yeah. What?
This is Brandy's speculation and opinion. Like, don't take this as
Sure.
fact, but it makes you wonder if Reagan's irritated, maybe with Taylor
Hmm.
stopping by or texting. I don't know. I mean, they're friends, right? But like, if you
Right.
like, think about it. If you are like trying to get ready for something, do your morning, especially with kids, right? Like trying to get them
Right.
where, and then you have some, like a friend trying to come over or text.
Yes.
I just wonder with that Aries, like, is she irritated?
She could have been. And again, I mean, what we know comes from Taylor. She's already been proven to be a liar, so I'm going to say that up front. So we don't really know. But one thing Taylor did say that I have heard people believe is probably true that Reagan called her a liar. And so I'm wondering if Reagan didn't catch wind of what was going on or what was happening, or just that Taylor's been lying about this pregnancy. She's not really pregnant. And it also, again, according to Taylor, she also said that Reagan told her she was running late that morning, she had overslept. And so, I mean, it could be, or she may have discovered what Taylor's motives were finally
Yeah, she
and
could
why
have put
she was
it
really
all
there.
together.
Mm-hmm. So you could be onto something with that.
Just kind of like, oh, now we're, yeah, because the retrograde, just Aries in general,
Yes.
Mars, and so it all kind of, it doesn't like make me think of someone who's like, oh, I'm so happy you're here. It's
Right.
not that type of energy at all. Um,
No,
yeah,
no, not at all. And I just thought about because they were talking about how she was like had been doing laundry and getting ready, and I'm just like, gosh, she's just it's just a normal day for her.
yeah.
Um, but
And
yeah,
now we
I
got
noticed that.
Taylor, who's
Hmm.
Venus and Virgo in the fall, and
Yes.
um, right by that 11th house.
Yes. Which she's moved into the house of friendships and acquaintances and your social circle. And she would have been someone close to the victim. And I was reading a little bit about somebody that's not an obvious threat, which makes sense because when they told Homer and Reagan's mom who did it, they didn't believe, they're like, that can't be true. It can't be her. Like, so I could see how she wasn't considered a threat to them, and they had no idea about all the lies and everything going on in the background.
Yeah. And it makes you think because it's in Virgo, the sign
Hmm.
of service,
Hmm.
like is she the quote helpful friend? Yeah, just
Yeah,
something's not right with that. Um,
I agree. Um, and I know Reagan, they were saying Reagan was trying to be a good friend to her and didn't understand why everybody said she was lying. So Reagan's trying to be a good friend to her, and I think Taylor said she was bringing some baby stuff to Ray. I don't know, but there, she thinks this is a good person, and it's trying to take up for her, which
yeah.
is sad.
Um, I can't remember. Were we discussing this? And forgive me, I'm not trying to be insensitive, but is
Right.
there a time or or do they suspect what time maybe Reagan was killed just by
If
arriving at the scene and
right. And if they do, it may be out there, so listeners, forgive me. I haven't seen it. I know
okay.
I was reading through some of the trial transcript and the EMS when they found the baby, they did when she was on the side of the highway, they got the baby. They could tell the baby had not just been born. That and I think they
Okay.
guesstimated it had been 20 or 30 minutes at least just from the looks of it. So that would
Okay.
put it closer to maybe 9 a.m., but I don't know that we have an exact time
Okay.
for
So,
sure.
okay, gotcha. I asked because, like, what's happening in this chart is
Hmm.
now that Capricorn stellium at the bottom here, the
Hmm.
Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn,
Hmm.
now we're in the third house, like all
Yes.
together. Um, and it just makes because we know Taylor was pulled over, I guess, kind of pulled over, or
Right.
the cops right at where she's at in her car. It makes me think of the car aspect. Like,
Mm-hmm.
do you have thoughts about this third house?
I do because I know the whole plan was, well, I had a couple of things because I
Yeah.
know the whole plan was for her to travel, like to take the baby and leave. So that's part of it. I thought about also the communication
Yeah.
and kind of and that coming into play because they've got and stuff. But and I haven't found this yet, but there is a theory, and I don't think they've been able to prove it because they haven't recovered the items. But Reagan's cell phone goes missing. Taylor's clothes she committed the crime in go missing. And there are some theories out there that she drove to the river, which is, I looked up, it's like 7 miles away, tossed everything in the river and a lot of the evidence.
Oh my
So
gosh.
now, did she do that at 9, go do that, and then, head towards decaf? Possibly. But so it could be she's traveling or movement. Um,
It makes me think, like, I want to go back to what you said, like the
yeah,
communication, because gosh, when you see like Pluto
yeah.
in the third house, if you go like to
Mm-hmm.
the communication part of it, that is like arguing. It's not even just arguing. You're not talking bickering, disagreeing. You're talking
Yeah.
explosive
Yes.
argument, right? And
Yes.
so with Jupiter right there, and
Mm-hmm.
Jupiter can be like, it's a planet of expansion. So sometimes when you get
Right.
Jupiter with another planet, it's like an amplifier. With Saturn as well, originally I'm like, okay, maybe there's like she's getting the car ready, or
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. With what you said about what they observed about the baby,
Mm-hmm.
possibly makes me think this is more argument. Like things are exploding here.
I agree. I agree. And obviously we don't know what happened,
Yeah.
but I don't know if Reagan all of a sudden realized what Taylor was there to do, or again confronted her about you're not really pregnant. And I could see that happening right here, which would make, as graphic as it is, make more sense
Yeah.
that the baby is taken later, a little bit later,
Because there's something, and again,
potentially.
not to go into detail, but like there's
Right.
something
No.
with the manner of Reagan's death that it wasn't, I mean, she was there for the baby, but it wasn't
Yes.
just the death occurs just to get the baby. Like there's some passion,
Yes.
violence.
Extremely violent. There's some wounds that I don't even know how to it's over. It's too much. I mean, how do you say it's too
It's
much? But
not
you know
just
what
for
I'm
the sake
saying?
of getting the baby, right? It's
Right.
like
Exactly. Exactly.
there's something more.
Yes. Yes. Some and so that could definitely be and Taylor talks about an argument breaking out. Now, we don't take her side in this, but I could see they did say Reagan fought back and she fought back very hard. So
Yeah.
that could be the yelling and fighting and possibly trying to get away. And
Mm,
yeah,
mm, mm.
I know it's hard. And also I think that's a big part of that. And also knowing she is planning on running. She is planning on she's getting away, gonna get away, and thinks she's gonna get away, which is crazy.
Uh, exactly. Like, and I don't know, like, if this is appropriate, but like Brandy's opinion segment, like, when has fetal abduction ever worked? Like, these people always get caught. Like,
And that's the biggest question in all this is how, I mean, you ask yourself over it, how did she think this was going to work?
yeah, how do you think she's
Uh,
gonna get away with it? Like,
and she did. And and yeah, it's trying to explain something that we can't fathom in
yeah.
our brains.
Well, it's not rational, right? Yeah, it's like trying to
No.
make sense of something. Yeah. Um,
Um,
do you have any thoughts? Because on the last chart and
right.
this chart, Uranus in Taurus is still sitting in that seventh house. Did
Yes.
that bring any thoughts to you, or did you?
Well, the only thing I came up with, and this is one of those that I was like, "Ooh, I want to have Brandy dive into this a little bit more." But in the house, Uranus to me just screams like erratic, and it's change, it's quick. But with it in Taurus, when I was looking at it, I was thinking of something that's almost like wait, 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 and then bam, and it
Yeah.
hits. And that's kind of what I was thinking of. It's like almost befriend, 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 and then suddenly
Yeah, there's like an
attack.
urgency,
Uh-huh.
like it could be planned, but oh, I got to do this now. I mean, do you think that's could
I
be it?
think so. I think she was probably always, because they always looking, well, I don't want to say, she had looked at adoption, she had looked at different things, but she was obviously, I think this was on her mind. But it feels like when October 5th went the way it did, and she finally gets called out, and Wade finally confronts her of, are you really pregnant? I don't think you're pregnant. That's when it's like, I'm doing this and I'm doing it now. So
Yeah.
it's weird to say it was planned, but also urgent at the same time.
Yeah, and maybe somewhat impulsive. And it could
Yeah.
be too, like kind of what we were talking about a few minutes
Hmm.
ago, impulsive about how it went down. Like all of a sudden
Hmm.
it's uh, uh,
And
more
I did,
intense than it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it also makes me kind of think about that, her sign, that Venus being in a fall, because she did tell people in prison it didn't go as planned. Now, is that because she got caught? But it also sounds like how it happened didn't go as
Yeah.
planned, which I don't know how you plan that. But if there was like the sense of I've got to do it now, and it doesn't work out like she thinks it is, besides her being caught. Um, and I don't know.
Yeah. I think that's totally a Uranus thing. Like, oh, it
Uh-huh.
didn't go as planned, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Ooh.
I also noticed that Mercury is still in the first house too.
Yeah.
It's still there, which could be her younger daughter or it could be the baby, but it's still, and the younger daughter was in the house when all this happened.
You
It
know,
was
the
one of them.
more we talk about this and like, because, it's really
Yeah.
when you're recording and we're really deep diving in this in
Yeah.
conversation, and like so many things pop up. The
Hmm.
more we talk about, I think that's got to be her it's the 3-year-old daughter. Was she around three?
Figure third. Hmm.
Yeah.
She was 30, I believe.
Yeah. I,
Yeah.
I feel like that's her daughter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because didn't Ray, if I'm remembering right, didn't,
Mhm.
not Reagan, didn't Taylor tell the daughter to go in the other room?
She did.
So
Yeah,
there's
she
something
did.
about that Scorpio and hiding.
Yes. And I think it's going to come up in the next chart. But with that Mercury too, I believe it's going to move to the 12th house. And when they got to the house and discovered the scene, they were looking for the 3-year-old, and
Mm.
she was hiding in her room.
Oh my
And
goodness.
they couldn't quite, they found her, but it took a minute. And so I think the hiding aspect could definitely
Yeah,
be
and
part of
because that's like Scorpio, right? Scorpio
it.
like
Hmm.
is traditionally ruling like the eighth house, right? And it's like
Yes,
things you hide, secrets, or just keep hidden. So yeah, that makes
absolutely.
sense. Are we ready to go to that 911 chart? Is there anything else we
Yes.
want to cover here?
I don't think so because we've still got that Neptune and Pisces still in the fifth house, and the moon is still in the ninth house, and of course, still in that sign of motherhood. So
Yeah.
I don't think I have anything else.
All
And
right,
we have,
9:36 a.m.
yes. And
And is it DeKalb?
that's okay. It's decab.
Decab,
I feel
decab.
like if you're
So
not from that area, everybody calls it decab or, but yeah,
it's
it's
decab. So
Northeast Texas, so decab.
decab. Okay. So Texas is huge. So
Yes.
I'm a Texan
Yes.
over here, but like it's in the whole different. So decab. Okay. Or
Decab.
decab. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
No, perfect.
and this
And
is when the 911 call comes in. Taylor is like, I just had a baby. I'm paraphrasing. I just had a baby in my
yes.
car.
Yes, and the 911 call is coming in the same time. So the trooper sees her speeding. He turns on his light, goes to pull her over, and she's calling 911 at the same time. So this is when the state trooper is now on the scene as well with her. And yeah, she's saying, I need to get to Idabel.
This
Um,
chart just breaks my because this is when, yeah, she's pulled over. The baby
yeah,
is here, and we now
yeah,
see where the moon, which is was a co-ruler in the other charts of the victims, but especially the
yeah.
baby being in Cancer, now in the eighth house of death.
Yes, and there's questions on they say they got a once they got the baby, the paramedics say they were able to get a slight heartbeat back. So by the time it gets to the hospital, they said they got a heartbeat back, but then eventually the baby does die, but it was a real weak heartbeat, and so it the baby was not doing well at all.
Yeah.
And and really, really struggling at this point. And there's been a question of did they get it back? So anyway,
I
it's in
understand.
distress to say the least.
Right.
Um, but yeah, and I saw that, and of course, I mean, we already the victim. It's still Mars and Aries, and it's right on that cusp.
Yeah, now getting towards the fifth house, which the point you were bringing up before, her 3-year-old child,
Mm-hmm.
Mercury is now in the 12th house.
Yes. Yes.
And so she's like hiding, and then Reagan, the still the
Mm-hmm.
ruler, I
Mm-hmm.
switched to Mars here. By horary rules is in the fifth house now. And
Yeah.
so it's like you know, I guess like getting in there, finding that child, finding Reagan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh,
I know. It's heartbreaking. And I think the 911 call, I didn't look at the exact time for when they found Reagan and that 911 call came in, but I know they were very close. Like I know the calls were coming in almost at the same time or really close to the same time.
and we got something
Uh,
interesting going on with Taylor here. Because now Taylor, still
yes.
Venus and Virgo, now clearly in the 10th house. Like the last chart, she's right on that cusp.
Mm-hmm.
Now the 10th house, which is out in the open, right? The 10th house is like
I
you're seeing.
Yes. Yes, and that's what I thought about. And I thought about she's with the police now, so she's with authority, she's with law enforcement. And also when I was looking into this a little bit more, I mean, she's literally out on this highway. She's out in the open. Like she's
Yeah.
fully exposed at this point.
Fully exposed. And like going back to the police and authority, that 10th house
Yeah.
in criminal astrology is police and,
Yeah.
authorities, how they're handling the case as well. Yeah, she's right there with them, like such a literal marker in this chart.
Absolutely. And I was wondering with that Virgo, with it being in Virgo and in a fall, if that's also why it was, I mean, it was solved very quickly because the evidence, but if that helped contribute to that she is in a fall.
She's in a fall because the police are actually Leo.
Yeah. Oh,
Of course,
yeah.
they're in a fall too. Um,
Right.
but what's interesting is they're in, the sun is in Libra. Well,
Hmm.
Venus really likes Libra, right? Because like
Yeah.
Venus rules Libra. So it shows
Right.
me because they're in, let's say, her sign. She
Hmm.
thinks she can manipulate them, or she thinks
Right.
she has like, oh, they're on my side.
Well, and that sure does make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if anybody's seen the interrogation video at the hospital. I mean, she lies about it to the point where she gets examined by a doctor and it's like, what are they gonna find?
I
And
can't, I mean, that part blows my mind. Like, what? She had
yeah,
to have known she was caught at that point. Did she think they would be like, oh, yeah, she must have had a baby? Like,
I guess so, but yeah, she lies for the longest time. And then when she finally, I wouldn't even say confesses, but her version of the story, she at least says she does kill her, but it's out of basically self-defense. And then she saved the baby. That was the whole thing of they got in a fight. It was self-defense, and then she being the person she has wanted to save the baby. Of course, this is all lies, but I see what you're saying about telling the cops this and they're gonna believe me. And it's, and thinking that's going to work.
yeah, it didn't.
And no,
Yeah.
no. And
They were, I thought, from what I saw just on the documentary, you were saying there's like a lot more video out there
yeah,
of like, I have to watch these, but like, just
yeah,
from what I could tell, it seemed like the cops were on to her pretty quickly. Of course, if you see her, the video, like I guess the body cam of her getting out
yeah,
of the car, like, not to get graphic, but it's so obvious she did not just have a baby. Cause like, she's
yeah.
wearing pants.
Right. It is. And that was one thing when I was reading the testimony of some of the paramedics, they said they could just look in the car and they're like, when you have a baby,
It's
it's
messy.
messy. And there was no signs of that at all
Yeah.
in that car. And I think they had a pretty good idea pretty quick of something's wrong. And then by the time they get to her to the hospital, they run the blood work and they can see she
There's not
never
even
was
like
pregnant.
pregnancy hormones. Like,
No, there's none. So by the time the detectives show up, they've already know.
yeah.
They may not. They already know she couldn't have had this baby, so they catch her
And it
so
seems like
quickly.
by the time they're talking about doctors are going to come examine you, it seems like by that
Mhm.
time, I think they were already getting calls that Reagan was found and there's a baby missing, right? Am I
Yes.
remembering?
No, you're right. By the
Okay.
time the detectives get there, they already know there's a baby missing in New Boston. And so they know this girl's come in and she couldn't have had a baby. So they put it
Puzzle
together.
piece. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, almost as soon as she's there, they put the pieces together really quickly and just kind of wait her out till she finally admits it's not her baby.
Yeah.
And they do it's masterful how they do that interrogation. Um, but even afterwards, even after she's been arrested, they have all the evidence. You can watch her later interrogations, and she still claims it was self-defense, and she just wanted to save this poor baby. And it's just she still continues to try to manipulate the story and lie about it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah,
So
it's
I
just
see what you're saying about thinking you can get away with it.
I mean, I really think she thinks she can get away. Like that part, I mean, just blows my mind with the rest of the details, but it's like,
Right.
wow, you think at this point you're still convincing people. Like,
Yes,
yes.
exactly. And I also noticed as we're talking about this now that Neptune moved into the fourth house, or at least on my, yeah, it doesn't, it moved into the fourth
Yeah,
house.
it's clearly in, yeah, like sitting in that fourth. Yeah.
Yeah. And so now lying about the baby, but also claiming it's her baby now. It's not, I'm pregnant. It's now this baby's my baby and I'm the mother. And that just, and lies all around that.
Yeah. And going to that Neptune, the fourth house in crime charts can be like end of the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, we have it in a Saturn ruled sign.
Yeah.
End of the outcome, like we're getting the vehicle where there's
Mm-hmm.
Saturn can be lost, bodies, like kind of literally here. But Neptune and Pisces, like Neptune is in domicile with Pisces, it's the modern ruler.
Mm-hmm.
And then in a traditional chart, 12th house is ruled by Pisces and that Neptune, because 12th house is lost. It can also rule prisons. I feel like this
Mm-hmm.
is saying, just by that alone, but not connection together, that like, oh yeah, she thinks she can talk her way out of this, convince, but this is saying, no, you're going to actually end up locked up,
Yeah.
and have that prison element here, of course.
I,
But
I mean, absolutely. Even some of her prison calls, she's talking about getting a bond and being able to bond out. And it's just like the delusion is it's unreal. Like how I mean, she still thinks like, it's going to be fine. Like,
yeah.
um, so yeah. And I don't know, could that play into like mental health too? I mean,
Mhm.
because they've kind of talked about that. I think her defense tried to put that up of mental health and issues there, but that was ruled like no, she knows right from wrong. She knows exactly what she's doing. But I mean, to me, there's got to also be some, not making excuses, obviously, but there's got to be some form of delusion and
There
just,
has to be. Like,
yeah,
yeah, it's not just like I'm a good salesperson, which is a strong skill.
no.
But no, I think so. And I think you can find, especially in a crime chart, Neptune, especially retrograde
Mm-hmm.
in Pisces, delusional ideology. I cannot roll that
Mm-hmm.
out. Ideology and mental health. Now, not in
Yeah.
a birth chart, so I don't want anyone thinking, oh my God, I have.
No.
Yeah, no, in this case, yes,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, not an excuse, but I just know that came up in trial. So I was wondering if that's playing out possibly here as well, or if they tried to. Anyway,
I think it's all they got, like what else
I
can you
mean, what else are
say?
you going to plead but insanity? And that did not go over because it was so planned out and it was so, and also, I just thought about this as we're talking, and this may not go, it may go to this chart, but it may go to the past charts. It just popped in my head when we were talking about the third house too in communication. They also said she had like 4 or 5 burner phones.
Yeah.
Like she had all these apps, voice changing apps. She was sending emails claiming to be other people when it was really her. So I wonder if that kind of plays into all that third house energy too. I think when they found her, she
Mhm.
had 3 of them on her, if I remember correctly.
And
I've
that would
heard
be
three to
three
five.
three planets sitting here. And
Yeah.
absolutely, in these charts, so it's like the number of planets can represent the
Hmm.
number of things, right? Like, so
Yeah.
absolutely, if she's found with 3 burner phones, I think it could also, absolutely represent that.
I think that's how many. I've heard
Good
3 to 5.
observation, Jesse. Budding guys. Do you believe me
Well,
now?
I went back to that house of communication, and when I was thinking about the delusion, I'm like, wait, I forgot about all these setups she created
Yeah.
and all these different I mean, all these different, if you will, personalities that are people she created that others thought were real people and was her this entire time.
Yep.
Um, she is crazy, crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um,
Three phones, three personalities, at least three personalities.
at least 3, if not more than that. But yeah, at least, or maybe more. I mean, just
I think this
everything.
third house is like just multi-layered because it's the burner phones, it's the vehicle, it's
Yeah,
um
yeah.
the parties involved. I even
Hmm.
think like sometimes when you get Jupiter into a third house of
Hmm.
communication, again, Jupiter's like expansion, it's jovial. Again, not with birth charts, but with this case,
Right.
like Jupiter in the third house can be a bullshitter. Like, excuse my
Well,
language, but I don't know how else to like someone who
yeah.
exaggerates, right? Someone who's storied, like just very extravagant
Which
storytelling. There are so many directions we can go with this third house.
No, and that's what she was. I mean, they were going through all the different crazy stories. Even like a tattoo she had. She told somebody, they asked, how'd you get that tattoo? She said she was in a wreck and like their friend, she had to be care flighted and her best friend died and they got tattoos in honor of her. It wasn't even true. Like it was like somebody that she went to high school with that happened to them, but it didn't happen to her, and just they just said she just lied a lie. Like nothing
Yeah.
was truthful.
And and Jupiter here is in a fall. We got like
Hmm.
this is like a fall chart, everything's like so
It
yeah,
is.
kind of like the stories that like it like just leaves you with that look like why even
Yeah.
make that up, right? Like why think someone would believe that, it's not good storytelling. I'll say that, because
No, it's I think not my favorite. I don't want to be it's just the craziest to me was she told everybody her mom died. She was killed by the mob or something crazy. And then she takes
Jesus.
Wade to Christmas and she's like, that's my mom. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
It's just like it's crazy. So yeah, I think that third house definitely. And I also just noticed the sun has now moved to the
Mhm.
11th house.
The sun's now in the 11th.
Mm-hmm. Which is out of the 12th now, and I'm honestly asking, because that being the house of friendships and all that, could that be an exposed, and now Homer knows, okay, this is a supposed friend, somebody we know that did this.
I think so. I think if we follow the rulers from the other chart and the other charts
Hmm.
where like this looks like the husband's boyfriend, there's something about
Hmm.
it coming out of the 12. So things
Yeah.
being revealed for sure. It's also the police too here, like kind of
Hmm.
seeing getting more and more. It's also I don't know if I want to go this direction. I'm just thinking out loud, but like it's
Right.
groups, humanitarianism, hopes, dreams, aspirations.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That no, that makes sense.
But I think like really it's just the sun getting out of the 12th, like this literally like, oh, light's being shown. Like
Hmm.
we're getting some insight on what's going on as well.
Absolutely.
These charts, I should say, they really stand out from other crimes because of how many layers you can put in. Like some crimes are pretty straightforward in the charts, and I'm like, this one, it's so you can put so much layers or see so many layers is what I want to say with these.
Oh, absolutely. I forgotten about this. Even looking at the moon in the previous charts, still in that ninth house in Cancer, and that being the baby. When I was looking at the ninth house, I mean, it's generally longer distance travel, but she is trying to take this baby across state lines.
He
They're
does.
also crossing over water. They're having to cross a river to get
Yes.
there. And these highways, and I thought, oh, that to me, I meant to mention that really stood out to me.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you brought that. See, like, yeah, like ninth house, so it's like long distance travel.
Yeah,
Um, she's in kind of a local proximity because we're towards
right.
the border. But I do think like when you take, especially in a crime,
Yeah,
someone, across state lines,
yeah,
to me that would be more ninth house. And so I think you're,
right.
yeah, spot on, especially the water aspect, because with ninth house you get like the
Hmm.
bodies of water.
Yeah, yeah. I just saw that again. I was like, oh, I need to,
I'm so
but
glad you did. It's
well,
like
it's
it's so
good.
literal, right? Like you see what's happening. You
Yes.
see like just literally where they're going just by travel there.
You really do, because as like I said, as I've been kind of learning forensic astrology, you look at some other charts and it's like, oh, I kind of see it. But when I looked at this one, I was like, oh, it's all there. Like it just blew my mind how everything was there, the whole story.
Yeah. And one thing the viewers might be noticing is we haven't brought it up. I think me and you
Mhm.
talked about it a little bit in the background.
Yeah.
Uranus trining Venus this whole time, and it's also in a pretty wide trine, but just by sign, all the stuff going on here. Um, Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter, especially like the Pluto aspect with Uranus,
Hmm.
that's a generational thing, right? Because these planets are
Yeah.
slow moving, but it just kind of reflects the time. Like this was
Yeah.
during COVID. Um, but
Yeah.
kind of like getting it specifically into this chart with the Venus, there's just a lot of unpredictability, impulsiveness.
Yes.
I almost think like making stuff up as you go. You had brought up a good point before we
Uh-huh.
hit record about how Taylor Parker like looks different in every photo you
Yes.
see. Like her appearance
Yes.
changes.
She really does, and so many people have pointed that out, including us. Well, we were watching it with friends not too long ago. They're like, that doesn't even look like the same girl in each picture she's taking. It's just it's we it's almost like she shapeshifts. It's just really weird.
Yeah.
And so yeah, absolutely. And I also wonder with that Uranus in the sixth house, when I've kind of been doing my research into this, it talks about like a disruption in daily routine, which we know happened, or like, and like not only did it happen when she was going about her daily routine, but they also noticed she didn't show up for work, or her daughter didn't show up for school. So it
Hmm.
was like that's one of the ways I caught like something's wrong.
Yeah.
Like, and I just noticed that again,
Yeah.
that something's out of the ordinary.
Very much. Yeah. And so we get that Uranus. Like I said, I always stick a lot to the inner planets, but sometimes those outer ones just stand out so much. Like Pluto in this chart, Uranus, even Neptune, like from what you saw there. Like it's
I know I couldn't ignore them. It's like I know we
yeah,
don't normally look at this, but I'm like, we have to look at
we
these
have
in
to.
this chart.
They're like neon signs in this chart. Yeah.
Yes. No, absolutely. And it's I hope by doing something like this, I had somebody ask me like, well, why do you study charts that you already know the answers to? But I think we do this so when we do get a chart and we don't have the answers, it's like, oh, but I remember this and I've seen this before, and it can help connect those dots again.
Yeah, absolutely. And because there are times when like clients will come to you with things that have happened in their family. Like, can you give us any answer? By taking these crimes and kind of backtracking them, if you will,
Hmm.
you learn like what this means, what this could
Yeah.
represent, and it could absolutely help somewhere else.
Yeah, absolutely. And even in old crimes, you helped us. I can't say which one, but we brought you a crime that dated back to the 1920s, and we had the official police record, and then we had the family rumors, and we didn't tell you anything. We
No,
just said,
Jessica gets me on a call and she's like, just tell me what you see.
I'm like, and you were like, do you want me to know anything? I'm like, no, and I didn't know why, but I'm like, no, I want you to read it blind. I don't know why, but I feel like you need to go in blind, and
Sweat, sweat.
well, and I should say you nailed it. I mean, when you said exactly what our theory is as to what happened, which is different than the police theory, if you could see my jaw dropped, the other members that were listening, the other people, their jaws dropped. We were just like, we gotta sit here for
It
like,
was interesting. It was. And I give all credit to the sky. The sky is the one who reveals, right?
well, it was incredible. And so I love how we can use it for modern day unsolved
Mhm.
crimes, but even going back in the past, we can look at things and be like, is that exactly what did try to figure
I
it
do
out?
that. And on this channel, you'll find some of those, like the Bobby
Yeah.
Fuller death or, even like Kurt Cobain, like when there's like, cases that have been solved, but you're like, something
Yeah.
just doesn't sit right here. This guy
Right.
will tell you what's going on.
It really it will, and it did, and we still talk about that, by the way. We have to like, do you remember that?
It was fun.
So,
I was honored. I was honored you guys allowed me to experiment, look at it, and just tell you my thoughts. So,
oh,
Jessica, it was amazing having
oh,
you discuss it. Will you come back and do this again? I'm putting you on the spot, but I want you to come back.
no, I would love to. I would absolutely love to. I've already got like a couple of things in mind. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to send Brandy this.
You got light
I've
bulbs.
got a few ideas. And some of them are back in history, but I'm like, I want to look at this again.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah, I would love for you to come. Let's do it. You
Okay.
guys heard it here. So she'll be back. And hey, like if this was interesting, would you guys please hit like, subscribe, leave a comment, even if it's a heart emoji. Like tell us what you thought. If you guys
Yeah.
have been watching the documentary, anything, the police tapes, I don't know what you want to call them, the converse, like the
Yeah.
interrogations, leave some comments below, add some stuff. If you see something in the chart, share it because there's so much in these charts. We don't, I mean,
Yes.
it would be a 24-hour episode, I think, to go into
Right.
every aspect. But if you see something, put it down there. We would love to hear your thoughts as well. And
Absolutely.
Jessica, please tell everybody where they can find you because you teach astrology, you do readings, like, tell everyone where they
Sh
can find
sh
you.
Sure. So you can find me at jessicanicolereadings.com. You can find me at Jessica Nicole underscore readings on Instagram. Instagram's where I do the most. Facebook, I've kind of given up, so you can follow me on
Yeah.
Instagram. And I'm also, again, co-host of the Calling All Spirits podcast. And we took a little bit of a break, but you don't even know this, Brandy. We've started recording new episodes. So we're
Nice.
Yes, so we're going to be putting out new episodes soon, and yeah,
You
that's
guys
where you
go
can
find
find
her. And
me.
we'll have all
And I
that linked in the description
yes,
below. But yeah, go connect with Jessica.
oh,
I love your posts, like the history, like it's fascinating. And you
thank
guys go find
you.
her. If you guys want to work with me, I got
Yeah,
some astrology one-on-one mentorship going on, readings, it'll be in the description below as well. And we're going to be back soon and we'll be doing this again.
I love it. Thank you so much, Brandy.
Thank you, Jessica. Bye, everybody.